Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of NMH at 1. I'm your host, Priska Anyolo, and thank you once more for joining us on this lovely afternoon. So let's take a look at news from around the country. In our first story, Namibia in the Kunene region confirmed the disappearance of two individuals who were in a vehicle that was swept away while crossing a river in Otowani district. According to Namib's Crime Investigations Coordinator in Kunene, Deputy Commissioner Rudolf Kanyetu, the incident allegedly happened Sunday night. He said a group of people, including the driver, managed to get out of the vehicle, but two passengers were allegedly trapped in the vehicle and the search for them is still ongoing. In our second story, the City of Windhoek municipal councillors have agreed to implement the e-bikes for Windhoek project as it moves away from traditional transport to non-motorized transport. Through this project, to cost 3.5 million Namibian dollars, the city will procure 70 bicycles, of which 35 will be e-bikes, while the remaining will be conventional. The e-bike has both a battery and a motor to offer the rider additional support to normal human-powered bicycles. The bikes are ideal for hills, long distances, hot weathers, and reach up to 25 kilometers per hour. And finally, Minister of Justice Yvonne Dause has called on members of the public to have faith in the Judicial Service Commission and to not interfere with the process of the appointment of a new Prosecutor General. She said this on Monday at the official opening of the annual Magistrates Conference in the capital. And now we move on to our COVID-19 news for today. Worldwide successful contact tracing remains key in preventing the spread of COVID-19. Your COVID-19 monitor on Tuesdays shows the number of new contacts traced over the last 7 days based on available data. By Sunday, 95% of confirmed cases in Namibia have been cleared as recovered by health authorities. On Friday, the total number of direct contacts to confirmed cases who have been traced stood at 33,100 individuals. A total of 1,500 names were entered into the contacts register between the 7th and the 13th of November, the largest number, more than 1,000, added in the Hardap region. This may be the result of an update in numbers not reported in the previous week. In the so-called 4O regions in the central north of Namibia, 189 new contacts were traced, as well as 126 contacts in Windhoek and 71 in Rundu and vicinity. Do remember to stay safe and be a part of the solution rather than the spread. We'll go for a quick ad break before we move on to our video inserts for today. SWAPO Vice President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah addresses a mini rally in Rundu in the Kavango East, where she called on party members' support. Do take a look at our first video.
All three levels of our governments, they must talk to one another. We must not break the chain. We have already taken a decision last year when we voted for SWAPO presidential candidate, Dr. Hage Geingob, when we had already given SWAPO party the majority in the National Assembly. And by that, we have gone into an agreement with the people of Namibia to implement the SWAPO party election manifesto 2020-2025 in order to realize inclusive development and shared prosperity. And we can only do that when we know we are in control of the central government, which the people of Namibia have already given us. Now we must make sure that all regional councillors are SWAPO councillors, so that there will be that health link between the central government and the regional government all pulling on the same direction. Then it comes to municipality. As our president says, we must pull in the same direction. And it's only when you all believe on one policy, when you all believe on how we can manage our developmental agenda, you can pull in the same direction. If we make a mistake, and then the other level of government, we gave them to others who have a different agenda, we will frustrate our development, and we should not allow that to happen. Go out in your numbers and vote for SWAPO candidates, both at the regional and local authority.
Oh my God!
Senared has appointed a substantive CEO who officially took office on the 2nd of November. Robert Kahimise has working experience in the energy industry and is the former CEO of the city of Windhoek. Senared board chairperson Moses Matiai introduced the new CEO before he officially signed his contract. Kahimise also shares some of the challenges that he aims to tackle during his 5-year contract. This video is provided by Esther Kamati.
The 2nd of November 2020 on a fixed term contract for 5 years. And it's humbling to also have a person of his caliber, and I think the recruitment process was definitely done above board, following policies and procedures of the company. And of course the board has been very satisfied with the candidates that were veering up for this specific position, and definitely they were all competent candidates. But I think in a race one has to emerge as the victor, and of course at this moment the victor is the one that we will be introducing to you, Mr. Robert Kahimise.
Unexpected honor. Never thought that I would end up here, but the plans of the one that lives above is not our plans. Here I am, early in November 2020, being given a new assignment, which is to transform an electricity distributor, which is Senared. The organization has been in existence now for more than 15 years. So the base is there, the brand has been there, but as all organizations evolves, surely there are issues of our time that needs new injection of energy. I can be brief because I've been in the industry. The key focus areas for our journey over the next 5 years. Affordability is an issue. Whoever has done a benchmark, you will see that our tariffs are on average reasonably higher than the other players in the distribution sector. Since we do have a cost plus methodology that we use, so that also speaks to the cost reflected in the tariffs. The challenges that we have here, unlike in Terombarat, is the long lines of infrastructure with low densities at the end of the line. We know Namibia geographically is the size of Nigeria. But when it comes to the population, we all know where our handicap lies. So in electricity, that causes long lines, and these lines are not cheap.
Steffi Balsar of the Algemeine Zeitung spoke to Edward, a street vendor at the informal market in Klein Windhoek. He explained where they get their goods from and what they do in terms of the preservability of the fruits. Do enjoy.
My name is Edward Victor. I'm here in Klein Windhoek. I'm selling fruits and watermelon. Some things they buy from Stambridge. Some others, they come from South Africa. Then they come on South Africa they put it Stop and Shop at the shops. Then the people, they go and order. Then they come and put small profit. Sometimes, like tomato, grapes.
Catch us daily on our social media pages from Mondays to Thursdays, where we will be flexing our muscles, and on Fridays and Sundays flexing our minds. See you guys next time.
And now we move on to our front pages of our NMH dailies. On today's front page of the Republican, Henriette Lamprecht reports that 4 out of 5 private health service providers in Namibia who took part in a recent poll by the Namibian Private Practitioners Forum are worried that the Association of Namibian Medical Funds increasing prescriptive behavior with regards to the setting of standard codes and tariffs is shameful and possibly illegal. The misappropriation of funds, nepotism, and a lack of responsibility. The Algemeine Zeitung reports that this is the status in some conservancies. In reaction, the Ministry of Environment has introduced legislative changes to gain more insight into conservancy finances and at the same time more control over conservation areas. Top of the Namibian Sun today, Jemima Beerkus reports that Jason Iyambo, who attempted to bribe an anti-corruption commission investigator in January to get a hold of bank cards belonging to fish rot accused James Hatukwilipi and Pius Mwatelulo, has pleaded guilty to the charge. Sticking to things related to the ACC, leading the Namibian today, Sonia Smith reports that President Geinkop's office has chosen to remain silent on whether the Anti-Corruption Commission Director General position will be advertised or if the incumbent contract will be renewed. Paulus Noah's contract ends on the 31st of December. He has been heading the institution for 15 years. On page 1 of the New Era today, President Hage Geingob, in a tribute in honor of the 4 slain fishermen in the Zambezi region at the hands of the Botswana Defense Force, said that country's so-called shoot-to-kill policy is not consistent with international and regional core principles of peaceful coexistence and stability. And now we move to inside the NMH dailies. From inside the dailies and echoing the report above, inside the New Era today, Zambezi Regional Governor Lawrence Sampofu has called for calm and has urged citizens not to take the law into their own hands as tension mounts over the killing of the 4 fishermen. From inside the Algemeine Zeitung, the Institute for Public Policy Research, while presenting their latest report on Namibian governance, pointed to the possibility of another scandal in the fisheries sector due to a lack of transparency and laws. The same report is echoed inside the Namibian Sun, but takes the angle that the IPPR believes that President Hage Geingob can still take steps to eventually emerge as an anti-corruption champion. Inside today's Republican, Namibia remains a patriarchal community, with toxic masculinity anchored in a condescending and paternalistic value systems of male supremacy. This is how Professor Henning Melber, attached to the University of Pretoria's Department of Political Science, reacts to the hashtag Shut It All Down movement against gender-based violence in the country. From inside the Namibian, a heart-wrenching story on 79-year-old Urbanus Ishitile, a war veteran who continues to live in squalor after returning from exile 30 years ago. He says he has been forgotten despite his contribution to the liberation of his country. Leading today's Market Watch in all NMH dailies, Jo Marie Dadi reports that trade disruptions due to COVID-19 contributed to a slump of about 7 billion Namibian dollars in Namibia's export earnings for the first 8 months of the year. And that is it to wrap up our newspaper articles for today. Let's go for a quick ad break and we'll be right back to introduce the interview segment for the day. Willie Stallman of Willie Vrachtig opened a new business when the tourism industry came to a halt earlier this year. 7 months later, Willie boasts full-time employees and has a full calendar. Yolanda Nell popped in to chat to him about his business. Do take a look.
I am so excited today. Today I get to speak to Willie Stoeman. He started Willie Vrachtig. Willie, welcome.
Thank you.
And tell me about your business.
I'm so excited. So my business entails everything that's doing prettiness and refurbishing interior work for those who, in our difficult times now, you can actually do something out of nothing, something amazing. So we take old stuff and we transform it into something amazing.
How did it come about you starting this new business?
Yolanda, it all started by one room. My friend called me and said, listen, what are you doing at home? Because I was in the tourism industry. And she said, what are you doing at home? And I was like, nothing. She's like, can you please come and help me paint my walls? And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And so I painted the walls and it's just like, can you please help me with this? How can we fix this or make it nicer and stuff like that? And like, okay, let's do this and this and this. And she was so impressed and she called her friends over and said, look at this. And after it, everybody phoned me and said, you must come to my house. And so yeah, Willie Vrachtig started by one wall, maybe two, and then friends coming over, having some pairs, and then Willie Vrachtig started.
That's amazing. So, but this business of yours is booming now.
It's amazing. It's all about word of mouth. From one house, we did one house in Kubabas that changed Willie Vrachtig completely. We sold old stuff, like old furniture and stuff, and yeah, we took that money and we refurbed, painted, new curtains, and from that house, our business just boomed, and it's unbelievable. We are so blessed.
When you started this business, after you've done that one wall, have you ever thought that in such a short amount of time you will have a viable business?
No, it was like, for me, it is unbelievable because I was actually at the moment I just want to do something with my time. And then that one wall started by two walls, by putting up a painting here, doing this, moving and shifting, and yeah, and it just, for me, it's unbelievable. I cannot actually believe it, that my business is booming.
But you also have a lot of locals on board who help you with cupboards and anything you can't do. Why did you decide to reach out to other locals?
You know what, in these difficult times, I just realized that so many people that don't have work, that's been retrenched and stuff like that. So I just realized that why not help them as well? So there's so many people out there that can do welding or that can do carpeting, and why not reach out and help them as well? And it's really working very nicely. So we come to a house, we say, okay, listen, what do you want to do? And you say, okay, we want to do this, this, this. And then we start from there, planning, and then I can say, okay, I need a carpenter, can you please come help me with the cupboards? Or somebody can refurbish the sofas or something like that. So yeah, we take it from them.
In the midst of the coronavirus, especially you coming from the tourism industry, you had to slow down and completely stop work. And out of this, Willie Varachdag eventually just took off. And how do you go about from almost losing your job and building your own business?
Thinking out of the box. I think that is key, thinking out of the box. And also, it also started by one wall, but also now I can reach out to communities, helping communities, and also it doesn't help to sit and sulk about something and wait and wait and wait. You have to do something to keep you alive, to keep your health above water and stuff like that. So for us as Willie Varachdag just happened by doing stuff and to make a difference.
And you have been open now for 6-7 months, and you have employed people full time.
I've quit my job. It was like, it's time, and it was very sad. It was very sad because I love the tourism industry, but we had to make a choice. And now I have 4 people on board, working like full day, and it's unbelievable. It is really unbelievable how Willie Varachdag just took off in a direction, and yeah, and now we are like, wow.
Oh, that's amazing. So guys, if you need anything done in your house, whether it's painting or putting in cupboards, give Willie a call and go visit his Facebook page. Willie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. What we say always at Willie Varachdag?
Maak dit pragtig.
Yeah!
That is it for today, dear viewers. Do stay tuned for the weather, and I hope to see you again tomorrow at the same time and at the same place. I've been your host, Priska Agnolo, and I bid you farewell.